Joining us now is the head of the Japhet School, Kerri Vizena. Kerri, thanks for being with us on the program once again.
Hi, Tyler. It's great to join with you today.
Yeah, good to have you with us. For those that aren't familiar, can you give us an overview of the Japhet School? Because it is not affiliated with any local school district. It is its own entire institution. Give us some background on some of its core values and the way it approaches education as opposed to some of our schools in neighboring areas.
Sure. Japhet School is located in Clawson. We're going into our 50th year next year in 2023. So it was established almost 50 years ago by a group of concerned parents in the area who wanted to see moral values integrated into their children's education. So that was the foundation of Japhet's start, and with then implementing character qualities, of which we have 18 of them, and they're divided into two separate cycles. And so we focus on 9 a school year, and implement those into our curriculum and into our daily living and modeling. And that includes our families as well. So we are an independent school governed by ISACs, which is Independent Schools of the Central States, and then in Michigan, AIMS, which is the Association of Independent Michigan Schools. We are accredited, and we have a strong curriculum, strong academics, of which community service and leadership is an important part of our curriculum.
So this is an independent school. It's not affiliated with any particular school district. It's more, as you said, affiliated with a consortium of other independent schools that's overseen
Correct.
on a statewide level. So is this a private school in that case, or is it something in between private and public?
We're considered independent with a mission. We have a mission statement, our own independent mission statement. We are tuition-based. That separates us from public or charter. And private as well has, of course, a tuition. But we are in an independent school of Michigan and of the Central States of the United States. So, yep.
So you are the head of school, Kerri. Kerri
Yes.
Vizena is with us on the Megacast. She is the head of school at the Japhet School. What's your background? What led you ultimately to your current position leading the Japhet School?
Sure. Well, way back in the 80s, which is a far distance for some, I know, with my own children, I was a young mother and found Japhet School and became employed at Japhet when we had a child care center right within the preschool through 8th grade school. So I became the director of the child care center, and then had other roles as well, and left for a period of time and then returned. I did work in other public schools and charter schools while during my absence from Japhet, but I returned back to, it feels like home. You know, it just feels like coming back home to a school where the same moral values and beliefs that I hold and I believe are very important for all children and families.
So you talk about both the history that developed the Japhet School and what you appreciated as a parent of a student at the Japhet School and now as the head of school are those values that the Japhet School is attempting to instill in the education of these children. There are unique character qualities. There are 18 of these that are
Yes.
marked as being critical to that curriculum. Can you explain some of these character
Sure.
qualities and how they were chosen to be those focal points for these children?
Sure. I think it really starts with the golden rule, which is treat others the way you want to be treated. I think that's a universal rule for anyone to live by. So then out of that springs character qualities that were chosen previous to me, but certainly carefully thought out. So such as respect for others, respect for self, punctuality, thrift, obedience, gratitude is a big one, courage, initiative, reliability, and the list goes on. But they are basic skills that we need, all of us need, and particularly our students, our children, to go out into the world when they leave us onto their next schooling and to become the neighbors that we would like to live next door to.
And how do those qualities, particularly the respect for others, how do those relate to a current effort that's going on in the Japhet School? There's a fundraising effort that's going on to raise some funds to help people in Ukraine, particularly children. How does that go back to those core values?
Right. Thank you for asking that question, because that's a perfect example of the practicality of a Japhet School education and how it directly applies to current events and issues. So our middle school students are very active, and part of graduation is leading a community service drive of some kind. So the real connection with the Ukraine relief effort came because of my connection with Janine Krasicki-Sadich, who is president of J9, which is a marketing firm that we have work with. And so Janine is part Ukrainian, and it really hit home with us that here was someone who had relatives in Ukraine, and we understood, the real heartbreak that was going on here. And then our students, when they heard of the heartbreak of losing your home or being told you have to leave your country or in unsafe conditions, that they really dug deep and wanted to help. And so that's how the Ukrainian relief effort on our part began. And all classrooms, all class levels donated items. And then all these items were taken to a trucking company that then eventually got, I believe it was to Maryland, and then over to Ukraine.
And so how did those relationships then become formed between your school and the fundraising efforts, and ultimately those that are on the front lines? What sort of vetting went into determining that these funds that are being raised, all this effort that's going in for this great cause, is actually going toward people that are going to be in need of these services and of these funds?
Sure. So the knowledge of this came from Janine, who knew directly of this organization and that it was reputable, and that all of these items would go directly to those in need. There was no middle person. They would go directly to who was in need. And there was also monetary that was efforts that went, and we collected some funds that way. And we know that all of it went directly to the children, such as coloring books, washable markers, crayons, and those kinds of things, diapers, just the necessities for living, and how to brighten those dear children's day during some very, very difficult circumstances.
We're joined by Kerri Vizena. She is the head of school at the Japhet School, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. You can learn more information about the Japhet School by visiting their website at japhetSchool.org. That's JAPHETSCHOOL.org for more information. It also will provide you information on how you can participate in these fundraising efforts by the Japhet School to support the needs of children on the front lines in Ukraine during this during their war with Russia. And so as we continue on into the summer of 2022, we look toward the fall of 2022 and the 2022-2023 school year. What sort of preparations are being made this summer for next school year that are similar and different to the past 2 years? We're in a much different spot now than we have been last summer, and certainly the summer before that with relation to COVID-19, but COVID-19 still very much, I would imagine, needs to be a factor in these plans.
Sure, and I think it always will be, Tyler. The fact that the need for personal space or being aware of any challenges physically that may come, we will always have that toolkit of needing to possibly adjust in certain ways. I think there are many silver linings in the pandemic. Of course, we don't want it to be repeated, but there is certainly a broader view and an awareness of everyone's needs and needing to be healthy and safe. So I don't feel like we have skipped a beat here. We are continuing right now. We have a summer camp for our younger students that is full, and they're enjoying being together outdoors and in our classrooms. in school this summer. So that's for 2 weeks, and then come the fall, I think there will be a little bit more relaxed feel as far as being together and getting back to our in-person events. We did hold our graduation ceremonies in person in June, which we hadn't done for 2 years. And so that was, wonderful to get back to. And we did it in very safe situation. But really looking forward to open up, bringing in guest speakers, which we hadn't been able to do other than electronically through Zoom or something, and get back to the business of being in person with an expanded sense of our education, which is very important.
We're joined by Kerri Vizena, the head of school at the Japhet School on the Oakland County Megacast. More information can be found on their website, japhetschool.org. That's japhetschool.org. You can also find them on social media at Japhet School. That includes on Instagram, Japhet School, JAPHET SCHOOL. I passed my spelling test so I can advance to the next grade. Kerri, as we continue, what sort of challenges are continuing to amount for the Japhet School in comparison to some of our public schools, but maybe even in a difference to public schools as it comes to COVID-19? Or what are some advantages, given that you are an independent school district? I don't have maybe as much of constraints at a district-wide level that there are in some of these public schools.
Well, I do think we had a very strong health and safety protocol plan in place, and which was a screening. Parents had to fill digitally, electronically, a form out stating every morning before their children came into the building. So we did have a very strong plan in place, and I think the trust was very strong with our parents because they knew that we were taking all the steps necessary to hopefully maintain health in the building. I think for us, it is the 3rd through 8th grade level. We are a preschool through 8th grade school, but we do have openings in our 3rd through 8th grade classrooms. And I would just send out that word to anyone that's listening that we provide an intimate, strong academic focused with character education curriculum for our students. They come out of Japhet being strong leaders, excellent public speakers, and with a strong sense of companionship and family, and ready to help others. They learn to put others first, which I find to be so important in today's world, rather than it's all about me or what do I need, but thinking of others first. And that starts right with our preschoolers. So,
Kerri, we appreciate having you on. Before we let you go, anything else we haven't discussed today that would be important for our audience to know or be considering about the Japhet School?
Well, we're just excited about celebrating our 50th year next year. And obviously we're doing things well if we've been here for 50 years. And I do know that that character education is so important in today's world, and that if anyone's interested in learning more about our program and curriculum, to please contact me at kerri.vizena@japhetschool.org. Visit our website. It really explains who we are and what we do. So I just appreciate being able to share more about Japhet School, Tyler.
Kerri, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.